Sláinte everybody and happy St. Patrick's Day. Today I want to talk to you about my favorite console that uses green in their logo, and that is of course the Xbox. Specifically, I want to talk to you about my first month with the Xbox Series X. Let's take a look. Alright, real quick, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so, be sure to subscribe down below. I'm doing a couple of videos a week where I talk about everything from retro games all the way up to Switch eShop to things with the Xbox Series X as well as PC games. There's 70% of you that haven't subscribed yet, and you really should do so because I'm putting out a ton of content every week. Alright, so first up, let's talk about the console itself. Now, a lot of people call it the fridge, and I think that's kind of insulting because to me, it's not a fridge, it's an obelisk. This feels like new technology. This feels like 2001: A Space Odyssey. I love that it has clean lines. I like that it's just a simple rectangle. I love the grate on the top where the fan is that you can see a little bit of the green through. I mean, I don't have too much to say about it other than that. It is a rectangle. You know, it's all it is. It's got nice clean lines. I really appreciate that. One of the things I do want to talk to you guys about though is this, the controller. And one of the things I like about the controller is that it is very much like this, an Xbox 360 controller, which in itself is very much like an S-type controller from the original Xbox. I actually really like that Microsoft hasn't gone back to the well too many times on controller design. It's a decidedly different take on things than what Nintendo typically does. But I appreciate them taking chances on things that are necessary, like the adaptive controller for accessibility options for people that are typically not able to play games. I think that's a big deal. Some of the things I really appreciate about this controller real quick, I like the D-pad and I also like the dual buttons. Personally, I think they look good, and it's kind of a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why would you, really? A few things I don't like though, and this is one of them. I don't understand Microsoft's reliance on AA batteries. It doesn't make sense to me. As someone who studied conservation in school, I try to eliminate waste wherever possible, and I don't like using AA's if I can avoid it, so I'm definitely on the hunt for a nice chargeable option for this. But I don't understand Microsoft not using rechargeable lithium ions for their controllers. It just doesn't make sense to me, especially when you have things like the DualSense controller for the PS5, the Pro controller, and the Joy-Cons for the Switch running off of lithium ions. It's kind of industry standard at this point, so Microsoft not doing that is a little questionable to me. So one of the things I don't like, and this is definitely just a me thing, but because it's kind of based on the geography of where I play my games, I have my game room in the basement, and one of the things about this controller is, if you can see here, the guide button lights up super bright, and at night when you're playing a game when it's 11 o'clock at night and all the lights are off, it can be a little bit distracting, but that's just a nitpick. I hope that there's a way to tune that down the road. Like, I would love to be able to drop that to 50%. I would prefer to be able to do that with this LED, but unfortunately I don't know of a way to do it. If you do know, let me know in the comments. But look, I know why you're here, you know why you're here, we all know why we're here. We want to look at games, we want to see how this thing performs, we want to see the stuff in action. We're going to look at some games. We're going to look at one that is not optimized yet for the Series X. We're going to look at some stuff that has been tuned for the Series X. And we're going to look at a few games that have the smart delivery option where they have been optimized for Series X and upgraded. There's some pretty good stuff in here. Let's dive on in. I won't lie, a lot of these I'm making use of Game Pass, and why wouldn't I? Game Pass Ultimate, I maintain, is the best value in gaming today. It's $15 a month, and you have an entire curated library of games available to you at any time, and they are all honestly pretty good. Everything from Microsoft first party is on there, Bethesda stuff is getting added, and tons of third-party stuff and independent games are on there as well. It's kind of miraculous. But that's not everything we're going to look at. So the first thing I want to look at actually is not an Xbox Series X game. It's just an Xbox One game. It's Marvel's Avengers. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping that the next-gen patch for Avengers was gonna drop by the time I did this video, but it didn't work out that way. So we're just gonna look at something real quick. So I played Avengers when it first launched on the PS4, and my biggest problem with the game is that it was really hard to get into because there were load times. And when I say load times, I mean serious load times. Like my time at Porsche load times on the Switch, 5 minutes going into a level. I could boot up the game, start the campaign, and then go upstairs, get a drink, go to the bathroom, take the dog out, and come down, and it would have maybe loaded into my level. I don't have that on the Series X. Now, I do have this installed on the SSD because I am waiting for the next-gen patch when it comes out, but I'm talking 5 seconds to load into a level, 10 seconds on a big level with lots of different assets being loaded. It's pretty remarkable. All right, next up, we have a game that I have on the PS4 as well as on the Xbox One now, and that's Tetris Effect. Now, I won't lie and tell you that this game is as immersive as it is on the PS4 because, hey, PS4, it's a virtual reality experience. It's kind of remarkable. It is one of the most relaxing and just all-encompassing games I've ever played. With the visuals surrounding you
the way they do with Tetris Effect. It's just miraculous on that headset. But man, does it look good on this console. All the particles popping off and the sound quality that you get with this game, it's just stunning. There was something that got tweeted out today. Someone posted that when you plug in the new Xbox wireless headset, that it says your VR headset isn't plugged in, and I'm hoping that that was an error in our favor, and we're going to be getting a headset soon, because God, I would love to see this game in this quality in a VR helmet, because it would just be magical. Up next, we're going to talk Star Wars Squadrons. Now, this one is one of the smart delivery games. This is optimized for Series X, and the load times are non-existent, and the game just looks incredible. Like, I thought the game looked great anyway. This is a budget title, mind you. This is like a steal of a deal at $40, and it's absolutely magnificent. It is so much fun to play. If you have any affinity for the old X-Wing games, you really need to pick this one up. I can't get over how great this looks on the Series X. Like, it's just so fast and so fluid, and just like the lighting improvements and the texture improvements and everything like that in the game are just magnificent. I don't know that there's actually texture improvements, I should say, but it feels like there are, because the lighting is just so vastly improved. Now, one that just got announced as being smart delivery on the day of this recording on March 16th is Samurai Showdown. And the big deal with Samurai Showdown is it's been bumped up to 120 frames a second. That's crazy. It already was a very fluid fighting game. Like, it was already beautiful to behold. Like, SNK just nailed the look of this game. But the movement now and just the fluidity of the characters and their actions and their attacks, it is absolutely stunning. Next up, we're going to talk Immortals Fenyx Rising from Ubisoft, and this is one, as someone who's a big fan of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I didn't know quite what to think of Immortals Fenyx Rising. Like, it doesn't look quite to the level of other games that are out on the Series X right now, but it does look good. Like, what it does really well is it takes advantage of what the Series X can provide, and it utilizes it. Like, the lighting effects in the game are great. It's using a lot of particle effects and lots of textures in the game that just look so much better on this than they do on the Switch or even on the Xbox One. So the game is vastly improved on the Series X. I'm loving it. It's a ton of fun to play. There's some great humor and great writing in this game. It's absolutely wonderful. Next up, we've got Forza Horizon 4. Now, I'm a big racing fan, and Forza Horizon 4 is jaw-droppingly gorgeous. Like, the intro of the game that I'm showing here is stunning, and that would have been good enough. Like, that would have been enough for me to get on board. But when you hop in game, like, look at this 69 Charger I have, this orange Dodge Charger. It's perfect. Like, there's nothing that I look at and I go, well, that's not quite right. That's not. No, it looks great. The plastic on the brake lights looks fantastic. The reflections of the paint and the lighting off the paint look great. Now watch here as I go under this tunnel with the multicolored lights. They reflect off of the paint scheme of the car, and it's just stunning. Like, this game is just gorgeous. But I'm saving the best for last, and I really think that the best looking game right now on the Series X, from the ones I've played, there are definitely some others that I haven't played yet, but Assassin's Creed Valhalla from Ubisoft is jaw-dropping. Like, I already thought this game looked good on the Xbox One. I put a ton of hours in on it over there. But coming over to the Series X and getting the smart delivery upgrade and just seeing, one, how fast it moves. The load times now just don't happen. If I fast travel to a new area, it just loads. It's done. It's maybe 2 seconds and I'm there and it's time to go. It takes the waiting game of the Assassin's Creed open world style games and eliminates them. It's something that people were so excited about on the PS5 with Spider-Man Miles Morales or the old Spider-Man game. It makes it almost seamless, like it's almost perfect. But one of the things I really admire about the game, and that you really get to see when you go back to Norway, which is the opening zone of the game, is look at the snow differential as you walk through it. It doesn't just cut a path. You know, I'm used to paths being cut through snow as I walk through them in other games, but there's actually like piles and buildup and like purposeful pathing that happens with physics that's actually in the snow that are only happening because of this system and the power that the system has. It's remarkable to behold. It's just kind of crazy how good it is.
Okay, so after a month and a half, what do I think about the Series X? I think just based on quality of life improvements alone, that I love the console. There's a drastic improvement on what I play on my Series X versus what I was playing on my Xbox One. Load times are basically non-existent now, and that alone makes it worthwhile. And that's before we even take into account the power of the console and games that have been optimized to increase their performance and visuals for the console. It's kind of mind-blowing. Now, do I think it is a true next-gen experience? No, I don't, if I'm being honest with you. That's the PS5. The PS5 came out of the gate with the bells and whistles. The haptic controller is kind of remarkable. I love that Astro's Playroom was playable right off the bat, like on your hard drive, ready to go, like out the gate, you're ready to play Astro's Playroom. And I don't think that Microsoft was ready for that. Like, Microsoft put this out, and this kind of felt like a console that could have baked for another 6 months. Like, I think we're starting to see some locomotion on Microsoft actually making changes and making moves with the console. But I think the console probably could have stayed in the oven until March and have been fine. You know, give the holiday sales to the PlayStation and give the summer sales to Microsoft. But that's not how it works. They got to go out against each other. Bang for your buck, do I think it's worth it? If you are on the hunt for first-party games, like if you are someone who loves Microsoft first-party games, Microsoft Game Studio stuff, pump the brakes. Wait for now. You know, there's nothing out yet that is going to make you go, oh my god, that's incredible. You know, Halo isn't here, Fable isn't here, you know, there's not a new Gears game or anything like that. You're getting stuff now with Bethesda coming over into Game Pass, and that's great, but you still don't really have that next-gen Forza experience yet. As great as Forza Horizon 4 is, it's not like it was designed from the ground up for the Series X. It was an Xbox One game that's been upgraded. And there's definitely some stuff from third-party companies like Ubisoft that are doing great work, but again, this is all upgrade stuff. This isn't a ground-up next-gen experience. So I think you're good to wait in that regard. With that said, I have no regrets buying the console. So to me, if I'm looking at the PS5 and the Xbox Series, honestly, this to me feels like two companies playing two very different games. The PS5 came out of the gate gangbusters. You know, there was first-party games, there was Astro's Playroom, the haptic controller is a big deal. But as they've gone on, it feels to me like they've stumbled a little bit. You know, the lack of consoles out there. VR support not really being a thing, having to have the special adapter to use your PlayStation camera, the VR version 2 getting announced sort of, but not really. To me, it feels like they had an idea, they ran with it, and they said, you know what, screw it, we'll figure it out along the way. And with Microsoft, they feel like they're playing the long game. Like, they know how powerful the console is, they know what it's capable of, but they're not going to try and put out a bunch of stuff year one just to spike sales in order to have them drop out after a year. And I think that's probably smart, because I think the power of this console is going to carry them for a long time. And I think when they finally get some first-party games under their belt and they start seeing them drop, people are going to be picking this up with more regularity. So for a true next-gen experience, I think right now the PS5 is the right choice if you're able to find one. And there's the caveat, right? Like, if you're able to find one. I have had an easier experience finding Series stuff. I've found a Series X, I've seen Series S's in store. I've never seen a PS5 in store, and I don't know when we're going to be able to do that, although there's rumors of a bunch of them becoming available later this week, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll have a PS5 next week. So from a next-gen experience, from a truly next-gen gameplay experience, I think the PS5 is your better bet, but I think if you're looking for a truly next-gen console, I think in the long run, the Series is going to be the way to go. But we'll see. I could be completely wrong. As of right now, though, I don't have any regrets. I love it. I think it's a great console, and I think everything that I have played on it just plays fantastically well. And I'm really looking forward to some more games getting optimized. All right, but now I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite experience has been on the Xbox Series, what your favorite game is, and if you enjoy the console. And let me know if you don't. You know, if I'm completely off base here and you think that this is just a terrible console, yeah, let me know as well. Just, you know, kind of keep it nice down there. We try to keep things family friendly and keep things happy around here. It's okay to disagree, just, you know, don't be a jerk about it. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up down below. I would appreciate it. Lets me know that you're enjoying the content that I create and that I can keep making stuff like this for you guys to keep you coming back and keep watching. If you're new to the channel and have not yet already done so, please be sure to subscribe. And while you're there, ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything we get going on. And on a personal note, I called it a notification bell and not a notification button, so I'm calling that a win. Go Jay. Until next time, guys, I have been Jay, wishing you a very happy St. Patrick's Day. Remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.